What is Archaeoastronomy? It is the historical, especially archaeological, study of astronomy, the study of the astronomical systems and methods of ancient cultures. For our purposes of confirming Bible chronology and how it synchronizes to the Neo-Babylonian record, we don't need to be an expert. With the right tools, it is within most people's grasp, provided they apply themselves a little. We don't need a telescope, we don't need to go to an archaeological dig, nor do we need to be able to read an ancient language. Here is what we do need: a modest computer with an internet connection, a translation of an astronomical diary, and we need an astronomy program. Our first step is to consult an astronomical diary. A little Googling and we can find VAT 4956, which contains dozens of lunar and planetary observations from Nebuchadnezzar's 37th regnal year. In line 1, we find that it is year 37, month 1, day 1, the start of the new year. In line 2, we find our first planetary observation. Saturn is in front of the Swallow. So, what constellation is the Swallow? For this, we consult a familiar resource, and under the list of Babylonian constellations, we find in line 16 the Great Swallow, which is a mixture of parts of constellations that we today call Pisces and Pegasus. When was Saturn in front of the Swallow? At the end of our translation of VAT 4956, we have a convenient table listing the months that are found in this astronomical diary, as well as a translation as to when they correspond to our calendar. Here we find that month 1, day 1, would correspond to April 21st, 22nd. That is, the evening of the 21st into the day of the 22nd. We also find the year, minus 567, which is another way of saying 568 BC. Another factor to keep in mind is where the observations were made. The wrong geography could skew our results. We know that these observations were made around Babylon. Therefore, we need to find a good approximate location. And this Iraqi town will do. This was close to around where ancient Babylon once stood. And from here, we can get the longitude and latitude that we need to enter for our observations. And now we have everything we need. We have coordinates that approximate the location of ancient Babylon. We have a date, April 22nd, 568 BC, and we have an observation, that is, Saturn is in front of the Swallow, or it should be near the constellations of Pisces and Pegasus. Therefore, around April 22nd, 568 BC, can we confirm that Saturn was in a Swallow? And now we are ready to use our astronomy software. And here we go, we're in. The first thing we need to do is set our coordinates. So we go to Setup, then Observatory. Then we will enter our latitude and longitude. So we will enter 32 degrees, 29 minutes, and we know that's north. Now for longitude, we enter 44 and 26. And we probably want to adjust our time zone that we are in. Therefore, we'll just go up to the Iraqi time zone. And now we're done. We'll hit apply. Now we are ready to go back in time. we need to go to Setup, Date and Time. We need to turn the system time off because we're entering a time in the past. We'll hit BC, and under Date, we'll hit 568. Now we'll enter the month, April, and the day, the 22nd. Now we'll enter the time to about 1700 or 5 p.m. in the evening and hit apply. Now let's look for the planet Saturn. We just need to go to Edit and hit Advanced Search. We'll hit Solar System, and in the drop-down box we'll hit Saturn. Now we'll do a find. Oh, we're below the horizon. So what we'll do now is forward hour by hour until Saturn rises over the horizon. And there we go. We can see Saturn, and over there we can see Pisces. But let's zoom out a little. Now we can see that Saturn is near Pisces and Pegasus. Indeed, Saturn is before the Swallow. Those who say Jerusalem was destroyed in 607 BC say Nebuchadnezzar's 37th year was 588 BC. So here I've gone back from 568 to 588. Once more we do a find on the planet Saturn and find it below the horizon. Next we bump up the time hour by hour until the planet rises. Then we can see what constellation the planet is in. Here we see that in 588 BC, Saturn was near Cancer, Canis Minor, and Gemini, but nowhere near the Swallow. Therefore, for Nebuchadnezzar's 37th year, 568 is a much better fit. There we find that Saturn is in a Swallow. And remember, this is just one of many dozens of astronomical observations found in this diary. The goal for this appendix is to demystify this process and to empower others to do their own verification of the subject, instead of taking another person's word for it. Doing so will enable us to carry out the scriptural directive to test all things, to make sure of the more important things. Only then can we be like the Bereans, who examined things carefully to make sure these things were so.